degenerate, distracting, mind-numbing idiocracy type of content is what's promoted in the algorithm. We got some news also. The Biden administration appears to be the final act of Biden's Commerce Department, and the Trump administration is already prepared to run with it, is they made the decision to give the minority status to Jewish-owned businesses. Didn't Trump just say, like, no more woke race, it's all based on merit now? But so why this new decision to make Jews a minority so what they get, Jewish businesses get some advantage now because they have a minority status? So every business gets some advantage by being labeled minority, but white people. I wonder how that's going to work out.
Not included in.
8:44, everybody. And a groundbreaking announcement by the U.S. Commerce Department this week will result in a historic expansion for Jewish businesses, not only in New York, but across the country.
Yeah, Jewish businesses will now be classified as minority business enterprises, making them eligible for billions of dollars in grants.
Oh, wonderful. Billions in grants for all the non-white people. I thought we were having no more DEI, and then, boom, Trump's ready to run with this. Yeah, they go like, oh, hey, fellow white people, what's up with the fellow white grants, the fellow white minorities? Oh, no, we're not white. Hey, fellow white people, us, we got white privilege, and we're so racist and white and evil, and we need to open our borders and have in mass immigration. Oh, what? We're not white. We got our minority grants.
As minority business enterprises, making them eligible for billions of dollars in grants, contract, and loans. Duvi Honig is the founder and CEO of the Orthodox Jewish Chamber of Commerce, and he's joining us this morning to discuss the impact of this new classification. So good morning to you, Duvi. Great to have you here. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here today.
Yeah, I mean, huge week for you, very exciting. Can you talk specifically about what this change means then?
Absolutely. It's so historic.
Chat says, Rebellious Goy says, Fed post redacted. This is serious bullshit.
Think about it. The Hispanic...
Yeah, Kushner is now a minority-owned business, yeah. All the big Jewish billionaires and the merchants in their disproportionate control, now we're going to give them minority status and they get even more grants and benefits. Talk about a level playing field.
It is 19% of the U.S. population.
Yeah.
The African American is 15% of the U.S. population. The Jewish population is 2%. And all of the minorities, MBDA, billions of dollars of grants since 1969 when they established the Minority Business Development Association under the U.S. Department of Commerce. There's hundreds of programs and billions of dollars of revenues. And
in order to get these grants, they say you can't hire any white people. This is what real privilege looks like, I know.
Different contracts from startups to big companies who are eligible, including banks.
Greetings, fellow minorities.
Specific amounts of loans to minorities that Jews were not included in.
Yeah.
We're not getting our loans. There's no Jewish bankers that will give us poor little minority Jews a loan. What is this?
And no one understood it.
Is this satire?
Voicing frustration. Jews are always the underdog. And
Jews are always the underdog. That's their religion. The underdog that triumphs over the evil Gentile empires. We're always the underdog.
Doesn't make sense. Like 2% of we're the biggest, smallest minority in America, you know, and we had no voice. We had no eligible.
No voice. Jews have no voice. It's so sad. Cue the violin. Jews have no voice.
Ability to access our taxpayers' dollars as the biggest minority and the biggest suppressed people.
So the
biggest suppressed people was so suppressed. Oh boy, we're so suppressed. I can't believe this.
The agreement on Monday, right? So I guess
interest-free loans. Well, the Talmud says you can't charge interest to a fellow Israelite.
The question is how quickly does it go into effect, and how soon can businesses start to see some of the money?
So the answer is as follows. We had changed the way the U.S. Department of Commerce is going to and the Minority Business Development Association are going to go forward with the applications. So I had a meeting with them right afterwards. We're updating the applications.
Okay.
So right now...
They're applying for all those billions in grants. This is outrageous. Fuck yeah, it is. Optics Prime, Biden pardoned Officer Byrd who murdered unarmed 5'2" Ashley Babbitt. You know, honestly, he shouldn't have done that because she wasn't a threat of death. But if you're breaking through windows to, like, break into the Capitol, like, don't be surprised if a cop shoots you. She was kind of asking for it, honestly. And it's who I blame? The psycho, the storm is coming, trust the plan, QAnon people for radicalizing her to try to break through a window and break into the Congress. Until
the applications are updated and to remove different, based on race, so based on different color, what you have to check out when you apply for it, those are being re-updated. So after we signed the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding, to recognize Orthodox Jews as minorities, and I want to tell you about it, that it took us a year and a half.
Is it only Orthodox Jews?
To advocate for this. But during the year and a half...
They got this done in a year and a half because they have no voice.
We went back and forth. And during that time, there was a new Supreme Court law passed in Texas with a lawsuit against the U.S. Department of Commerce, how they went about identifying minorities, that it wasn't fair through specific race. So when that happened, I said, you know what, let's include all Jews, not just Orthodox Jews. Yeah. And we updated the MOU, and we were able to, when we came to the final close signing, it was redone to include all Jews, not just Orthodox Jews.
So how soon can folks start applying for any type of grants, and how many businesses is this?
How can we get you Jews more money as soon as possible?
It's really affecting.
So this is affecting across all 50 states, the 2% of the United States population. So every Jewish business, I'm talking about big businesses and small businesses. You know, when you go for a government contract, it goes based on the score. You automatically have a 5% advantage in your score, like a school test, to get the grant, to be able to get that.
So you're saying when a Jewish company tries to get a big government contract, we're not talking about little deli stores getting a grant to open up a deli or a bagel shop. We're talking the biggest corporate government contracts, and he just said they get a 5-point advantage on their scoring system because they're minority Orthodox Jews now?
Grant, and now a lot of Jewish businesses are going to be able to get those grants, but also from the banking perspective, you know that banks have to lend money on a lower interest rate as well. The U.S. Treasury is also a partner of ours. Of course, now this MOU included many different departments.
The Treasury is up. Well, who's the Treasury Secretary? Mnuchin was under Trump. The new Commerce Secretary is Lutnick, the guy that brought Trump to Chabad Lubovich's grave. They shall lend but shall not borrow. Dude, this is like an Onion parody video. He goes, yeah, we got the better interest rates because we're Jews and minorities now. This is wild.
You know that banks have to lend money on a lower interest rate as well. The U.S. Treasury is also a partner of ours. Of course, now this MOU included many different...
Yeah, BlackRock is a Jewish business.
...that we represent, and they created
Israeli tech companies.
Initiative that gives minorities, instead of like the bank will give you 70%, you get the extra 30% for startup business.
Okay. So you were Mar-a-Lago about...
Oh, so more no-interest loans for you Jews. Wow, wonderful.
To talk more about this with President-elect Trump, right? You're also going to be at the inauguration. Did he have a hand in kind of making sure that this got done?
I want to say that I was so impressed.
There he is with Friedman, the ambassador to the Middle East, the ultra-Zionist Netanyahu buddy, that has a book about the one-state solution that donates to illegal settlements in the West Bank. Trump promised to get rid of DEI, and then now the Jews are minorities that get free loans and advantages for government contracts. Dude.
Unification of the transition teams, because we had right now, by the signing, we had Madia Latif, who she is the new undersecretary, who's taking over from Eric, the undersecretary, as well as with us Don Graves, who's the deputy secretary, and a special shout out to Joanne Hill, who's running the MBDA, who's continuing it. So Joanne and Madia Latif are working with us side by side. So we had the previous administration
Yep.
and the new administration, and it was her first day on the job.
Yeah.
And everyone was so excited. She said, this
Great.
is something that I am so appreciative to be
So it's Trump's new appointee was working on this. This is a Trump move, basically.
able to start my first day in the United States Department of Commerce, running this whole department with a historic change that really was a wrong that was fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was done on a bipartisan
Yeah.
level. So we're really excited about working with them and very appreciative. Again, I want to acknowledge Don Graves, who pushed hard, the undersecretary and the deputy secretary and the undersecretary Eric, and of course Joanne Hill, and now Latif to work with them.
Right.
Well, this change is a huge step, and we appreciate you coming in to talk about it. Thanks so much.
And then they bring him on to brag about it. Hey, guys, golden era.